You know I gotta come back. You know I gotta get the racks. You know I gotta get them M's. You know I'm never gon' slack. 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 You know I always bring it back. You know I always bring it back, 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 back. You know I'm never gon' slack. You know I'm never gon' slack. You know I always bring it back. You know I always bring it back, 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 back. What do they want from me? Going country. Yeah, they love me up there and down there too. When I'm doing the shows, all of the roads, like they be going so crazy. You know I'm never gon' slack. 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 You know I always bring it back. You know I always bring it back, 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 back. You know I'm never gon' slack. You know I'm never gon' slack. You know I always bring it back. You know I always bring it back, 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 back.
Tour, bringing you the hottest League of League action in the Detroit. Why do I keep saying Detroit? DC metro area. It's going to be a banger of a series. Join with me today. I'm your host, Myyt. Orbital is right here with me. We're going to have a great time today. You excited for this matchup? Be good.
I very much am. It's a treat to be here. Very excited. I've been watching the league so far. It's been entertaining, to say the least, and I hope the matches are just as hot as all of the viewers and the fans are saying it is.
Oh yeah, I mean, just based off of last week, we had a real banger on stream. It was a slugfest for the ages, and from what I'm hearing from my little birdies is that tonight we're going to have an equally brutal death match. So we are in week 3 of the DMV tour, and this week we got a lovely matchup for y'all tonight. It's going to be the GMU Patriots, George Mason University, up against Rourkes Kittens. So yeah,
it's gonna be
George
good. Yeah, I'm very, very excited. Both these squads, obviously, a little bit shell-shocked, I think, in the rankings. I believe George Mason, they are a team that are currently sitting at 1-1. So very much a stable team, but still need to kind of uplift themselves. Remember, trying to reach that 3-win threshold, whereas some teams have already hit it, right? So they are an amazing squad, but they just had a little bit of a hiccup along the way, and they hope to make their way in a little bit faster. Whereas Rourkes Kittens, unfortunately, got a little bit of a journey to go. It took a little bit of a loss recently, so they are hoping to climb their way back up the standings, but it's going to be a much longer journey. And for them, even though I don't want to say it, they got to look at GMU as a stepping stone if they want to go further beyond to reach that upper echelon.
Yeah, the gatekeeper right now for the higher bracket is kind of GMU. They're really eyeing that spot. And we are looking at, for this tournament, a modified Swiss. And really, there's a whole bunch of numbers going on in the background of tiebreakers and series wins and all that. But the most important thing, if you want to secure your playoff spot, you got to win 3 matches. So George Mason have already picked up their first. They're here to pick up their second against Rourkes, while Rourke is still looking to get on the board. And this is a critical week in terms of, getting towards those 3 wins. So you really, this matchup is very important if Rourkes Kittens want to turn that momentum around, and if George Mason want to secure their spot in the finals. But let's go ahead and take a look at the rosters here. First up, Rourkes Kittens. We got Yikes in the top lane, the titular Rourke in the jungle, J Radius in the mid lane, Piero and ADC, and rounding out the roster is Glabbles on the support.
You gotta love all those names. A squad that unfortunately have yet to really show their colors. I mean, if you're playing Nico Jungle, I have some worries, but honestly, Nico Jungle can also kick some butt. If you are Rourke, a namesake holder, kind of the one that we are watching in this situation, I believe every single one of these players, though, when you look at their past and at their recent losses, I think they've attempted a much heftier win in battle, and so I expect them to get a little bit bloody in these scenarios. They don't make it easy on the losses, right? And that's what I like the most is in your losses, go down swing. Take whatever cheap shot you can because you need to make it bloody, because you need to find a way to find a win in the future rounds.
Yeah, especially like in this sort of a tournament style where, winning, but not only just winning, but winning commandingly is very important, which is why Flake Hub, they won very, very commandingly over Jolly Rogers last week. They're sitting in the higher bracket, while George Mason, same record, is sitting in the lower bracket just because their wins haven't been as strong. But looking here at George Mason, we've got Fish in the top lane, Hydroshi in the jungle, Zeze in the mid lane, Osu ADC, and Giga on the Shaco support. I hope we see a Shaco support. I would have such a great time.
Don't say that. No, don't you dare. We literally met like 5 minutes ago, and I don't want to hear about this. I want to see Shaco support. I want to see, little Jack in the Boxes all over the place. I want to see this annoyances in the back. But the problem is, it's extremely fair. That's the worst part about it, is if you want to be good, if you want to break out, you do have to break away from the meta, and you do need these pocket picks that command some sort of agency in the draft. You always have to keep your opponent guessing, especially when it comes to Fearless, so having a pocket pick like a Shaco that is a well-known support, I call it a support disruptor, it makes me very excited to see what they can throw down, especially since Giga has really been heading GMU's, I think, successes in recent memory.
Yeah, so Giga over here, hailing from Falls Church, Virginia. He is the support for the George Mason roster. His favorite DMV tourist attraction is Luray Caverns. Now, Orbital, I don't think you're from the DC area, but Luray Caverns are, oh my gosh, these huge natural caverns underground, limestone caverns. It is absolutely beautiful down there and silent. You haven't really heard silence unless you stood in Luray Caverns, but it is really just a natural wonder. Which is just a really cool local treasure there. So yeah, some hometown heroes going on over here, with George Mason, of course, being a big mainstay in the scene, GMU, with when it comes to DMV Esports. But yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. So unfortunately come out of the Midwest, which has literally nothing. However, I will say we do have salt caverns of our own, I believe, somewhere. I went there as a kid, but it is cool to hear about the Luray caverns and hearing about it being a very kind of well-known attraction. Makes me very excited. If I ever am in that area, I'll have to make sure to make that note, because I think it's awesome having some of these spots be a primary. But for me specifically, I am looking at those week 2 stats over there as well. Not only is Giga a hometown kind of homegrown talent, also just exceptional in what they play. A plethora, by the way, a Seraphine, a Braum, and a Camille. That's a very wide variety of champions to bring to the table. I'm very excited to see what Giga can do here today.
Yeah, and if I'm hearing properly, we are getting ready to move into draft here, but Giga on those meta picks looking really strong. But here we go. Game 1, it's going to be Rourkes Kittens, MEOW, Meow on the left side against the George Mason Patriots University, GMU on the right side. Meow got a lot to prove, being 0-4 right now, GMU 2-2.
And it makes sense. You go ahead and ban away the Belveth. I think we saw that as GMU's one of their main picks in there, just being really annoying with that one. But these are a little bit more targeted. And when it comes down to, in my opinion, taking out some of these champions, you are very focused on some of those target bans. Especially in Fearless, we've seen, obviously, an adjustment towards the meta. You want to take away some of the top priorities. I know if you're following the MSI trades and you saw MSI, you saw the likes of the Poppy and everything like that. But in the DMV zone, we've seen a lot more priority on just unique picks. A lot of these players know each other, they know and play against each other, practice against each other, so these are very unique picks that really command respect out of each other, right? Just saying, hey, I don't want to deal with this, which is why we're seeing the likes of the Mel, the Yone, the TF, the Bard. Well, Bard's meta, but some of these champions that may, in our opinion, fall to maybe like a second ban phase instead.
Yeah, especially like when it comes, like, I think you nailed it on the head. These guys know each other, they play against each other. Now, of course, like international metas and big tournament scene metas are still going to hold some weight, as we see the Seraphine getting picked B1 here for Rourkes Kittens. It's a great pick. It's just a great first one pick, and we will see some of those, but those are kind of falling second to, I know this guy's just cracked on Yone, I don't want to give him that pick.
Yeah. Well, the surprising thing as well, it feels like the DMV tour has a collective enjoyment of Seraphine. So for reference, I was taking a look at some of the information and I was picking the brain. By the way, shout out to the DMV. They made it a complete and very, very easy to read website. I love it. Seraphine is actually the top pick and ban champion in the DMV tour right now, so very highly prioritized on that blue side. You can already see the Ziggs Camille, so already GMU focusing on that more aggressive style. When you look at an immobile bot lane, it makes sense. So I like this coverage that GMU are actively going for. It's almost like they did read into the Seraphine pick in the bottom side and knew it was going to be matched with more poke heavy instead of raw output.
Yeah, and there's also, you know, like almost like the second mode for GMU here, where you can just like Ziggs can just farm under tower relatively safely, and Camille can just run around and be an absolute menace on the map here. So I really like this pick, especially giving Giga something with such agency on Camille that he's already shown a lot of success with in the tournament. That's a great choice. Ooh, that's a little spicy. Jace top as the Wukong gets picked over for Rourkes Kittens as well. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. I know the memes of the NA Jace. It's been around for ages, and we kind of shifted away from it. It's still not great blind. I'm not gonna lie, it's not great blind unless you're very, very confident in the rest of your team. Now, paired with the Camille support, I do like it. If for GMU they are able to rotate this Camille out very early and make use, or they just completely dominate the bot lane and then rotate the Camille out, I can see it being very useful, especially if you have a very aggressive, engaging jungler. But I'm not always thrilled about it unless you're flexing it between top and mid. That would make the most sense to me. If we're shifting between top and mid and you're keeping Rourkes Kittens guessing, that would be my best guess with this Chase pick right now.
Yeah, and just looking at last week's stats, it looks like Fish in the top lane had just a beast mode game on that Jace last week. So it looks like he does really enjoy this Jace pick. He feels very confident, feels very comfortable on it. So I guess blinding it is more so we just don't want to see it banned game 2. or in the second round of bans. Let's just lock it in now. We know that Fish can perform on this. He just knows the ins and outs of the champion. So I think it's just going to be an NA Jace. I don't even know if they're going to flex it just because of that performance that Fish had. But that leaves the onus on Rourkes Kittens to figure out, okay, how do we answer this pick that we know he's very proficient on, know he's very powerful on? How do we neutralize, make sure that that doesn't happen to us this week?
Yeah, I mean, we could already see the bans as well for GMU, heavy targeted towards the top side, but this is also where it comes into what I like to call the staggered ban phase. Because you picked a top laner and the enemy side picked the jungler or vice versa, you target ban the other side, so it's a little bit lopsided bans. J4, Vi, obviously taken out of the pool. You don't want these engage tools to follow, which is what I was talking about with the Jace Camille. Things like a little bit more tanky if you want to dive into the Sejuani and the such it could be, but if you want to go for more raw damage for GMU, Nefiri is available. I know that one can be played if you really need to. There's a Rise, which makes sense if you are going for that mid lane power. Rise has been such a huge champion for a lot of people. I like what GMU are currently building.
Yeah, but what's interesting for me at least is looking at GMU's draft. They've blinded their mid and their their top lane when jungle was revealed here for Rourkes Kittens. So they really want to give some kind of, ace in the hole pocket pick here. Counter pick, want to see the whole entire composition before the jungler pick comes in. That to me is telling me that George Mason, they want that jungler to be able to heavily impact the game, not just a little bit. They want a perfect counter pick, a perfect pick into whatever this matchup may be, even if it means giving their top and mid potentially weaker matchups.
Yeah, and I mean, you can also estimate if you're saying, hey, for Rourkes Kittens, you don't really have a lot of great answers. The general answer is the Silent Orianna, which is a very comfortable team composition. This is a great general team fighting group for Rourkes Kittens. So their losses, I do feel, are not coming from the draft phase itself. This is as standard as you can get in a composition nowadays. Like it's a tank top side, it's a utility mage in the mid lane, a decent ADC and support in the bot side with an engaging jungler. I like what they've done, but if this jungle pick is not perfect, I will be a little bit worried from GMU. All right, I can dig the trundle. I will give it some credit. Cool. I like it. This is a fierce overfight. They're going for damage overload versus comfortable drafting. I think that okay.
I mean, just from looking at this, GMU do not want to play a normal game. They don't want to lane standard. They don't want to farm to 20 minutes. They want to run around. They want to do some crazy realm warp shenanigans. They want to have Jace popping off in the top lane, Camille just running amok on the map, while Ziggs is just farming his little heart out in the bot lane. Giga wants to run this map, and he's chosen, GMU have elected to have Trundle be his partner in crime on this, and also to deal with the tankiness of the Scion. In the late game. Loving this comp. I think this is going to be a really fun matchup.
Yeah, this is also leaning into GMU. I heard through the grapevine, I think they're just very bloody. Them as a team in general are very, very bloody, very hungry for a fight, and that leads me to one of two things. They don't play standard, or they do play standard, they just know how to run it down. And with their 2-2 kind of style, with their current 2-2 record, I foresee them being just very strong-handed, and that to me makes me very, very excited. Their composition screams, we're going to do things, we're going to fight, we're always going to try and have the player advantage in this, and that's what we want to aim for. So diving into this game, I am very, very excited to see what they can do.
We're moving into week 3 of the DMV Tour. It's Rourkes Kittens on the left blue side versus GMU Esports on the red side. Can Rourkes Kittens survive the GMU onslaught? We're going to find out, but it starts off hot and heavy with Giga forcing a flash in the mid lane.
What did we just say? What did we literally just say in here? Number one, Giga, the player that we want to watch here for being aggressive, being very proactive with the team. I believe had like a 4.5, 4.6 on that KDA, so very, very active. Sorry, 4.375. I can count, don't worry. Very, very active on the KDA side, and 66% kill participation means you are roaming, you are heavily active, you are one of, if not the catalyst for the team, and we want to see that potentially come through in this game as well. Burning a flash early means J-Radius can't really do too much in the mid lane without help, and it allows this Rise to not only farm safely, but to be a bully when it comes down to throwing down extra damage in the Orianna's face.
Yeah, and just, also taking the half HP, so forced to burn both pots like immediately at the beginning of the lane for J-Radius in the mid lane. And yeah, just like very vulnerable right now. Hydroshi and Giga are probably going to be on their way back. I wouldn't be surprised to see J-Radius just become the center of attention. This mid lane become sort of like the defining story of this early game, at least until that flash comes back up.
The other side is just, okay, we got a safe laning phase in the mid lane, so we actually leave it alone, and we force Rourke instead to focus on that lane. But levels 2 and 3 now catching.
A little bit of damage being traded over on the side. Giga getting slowed up. He's going very, very low, forced to flash away. One tower shot taken, but that is the flash force from Giga, so now J-Radius is feeling a little bit safer in that mid lane.
You also got a little bit of a barrier heal coming out of Psyduck and Ashe, so you also got a little extra in that back pocket, so it's not out of this world ending. However, the top side is a little bit low.
Oh, but here's Hydroshi here to flip the play. Fish turns the damage around. It is just going to be a little bit of a trade here. Oh, but yikes, it's Wax is running towards Fish, forced to flash away. Wow, what an interesting little standoff there in the top lane.
I love it. So I was wondering if there was going to be a bait out, and it looks like for Fish, it was very, very close. You were trying to bait with that low HP, but you didn't have to burn the flash. So for the Jace, it's a better outcome than I think you could have asked for. You didn't burn flash, you didn't lose your life or anything. You got the flash out of the Scion, which now gives huge priority to the top side of the map for GMU. A little bit of catch, though, as Osu, it shouldn't be in full death range, but getting pushed out because the Camille had to recall a little bit earlier. The only technical lane where they're winning for Rourkes Kitten is the bot lane, but for Rourke themselves, a lot to be considered. Do I save the mid lane? Do I save the top lane? Do I just try and hammer this bot lane? A lot of questions being mounted right now.
Yeah, summoner disadvantages in both the top and the mid lane here for Rourkes Kitten. So yeah, a lot of questions that need answering here from the titular Rourke. We'll see where he decides to push his attention. He is looking towards this top lane, but there's not really a dive to be had here, as he's just going to have to farm up again.
I mean, for Wukong, I always say you do want to gank early. I always prefer junglers that are able to gank a little bit earlier, but obviously the trends are lean into level 6, get that ultimate, and then work your way around. Also focus on the global objectives, wait for the dragon and all. It does make me sad that we don't see those level 2s, level 3s as often anymore, where after the first rotation you just hard gank or you try and set up for the rest of your team. But as soon as Rourke hits level 6, I do want to see him be able to unfreeze this lane state and help out the rest of the lanes. You don't want to see this kind of late game mission go straight into that mid late, because I feel like GMU, although they don't have a good teamfight composition, they have great tower taking potential, and that scares me.
Giga sees Rourke out and is going in super deep. I think there's going to be a collapse here in a second. Yeah, doesn't land the stun though, so Rourke should be able to just walk this one out to safety. But his jungle is no longer under their control.
No, I love this invade potential, and the smite goes back. So, did Rourke actually miss that? I don't know. I saw the gold go over to the Hydro.
I'm not sure.
I think
the
Hydro
CS
got
looks
that.
even. Oh wow, okay, so that's pretty nice for Hydro.
Yeah, I think Hydro got it because of a little bit of burn. I don't remember, but either way, the dragon coming down now as well for the rest of GMU. They're real happy about this. There's no way a steal comes through, right? A little bit late to the
there's
party.
no level 6, right?
No.
Stun on the side, Psyduck going very, very low, forced to flash away, Ignite is coming through. That's going to be the end of the play, I think. A little bomb's coming through the realm. We'll try and get in there, flash forward, and Zay is going to grab first blood in the bot lane.
That's so clean, and that was a little bit overset by Rourkes Kittens for Wild Psyduck. You stepped in, you tried to get a little bully heavy, and you forgot about the pillar, you forgot about that jump in from Giga as well, and it's a good break point. This bot side was the only lane that felt like it didn't really have an extensive lead. If you remember from earlier, well, guess what? You just got a little bit of lead. Giga came in, got the assist, and a kill went over to Zay. So now Zay gets a huge boost in that gold in the mid lane. Is it going to be that much? Not really, because it's a rise. You're scaling, right? So yeah, it's still good. Get the scaling items faster, get Zay online at a much faster pace.
Giga is just standing here menacingly in the mid lane. He trying to unlock his mid laner, it seems like, but what do they want to do afterwards? This is so interesting.
Well, so I believe Giga came by because bot side obviously you weren't too worried as that's a flash out of Osu. I say not too interesting, but it's because Zeze actually after that gank, after the bot side dragon, after they got it, he went straight back to lane, was about quarter mana, half HP. You just wanted to get him safely in the lane, right? So go ahead, get back, recall, use that gold to buy, and give yourself that catalyst. So it's a smart play. Go ahead and give yourself some safety, and J Radius now is behind because you weren't able to punish that low HP factor of Zeze.
Oh, ping's coming out in the bot lane. Oh, but nothing too crazy is going to come over it. Hydroshi's in the wings, but it looks like the engage isn't going to come through just yet. Or maybe I'm speaking way too soon. Flash forced out from the Ashe there. Osu only knocking away with a satchel charge, but it looks like that's probably going to be the end of the play unless Rourkes want to push their luck, which they are not going to. That's a flash going over the way of GMU.
Yeah. Waiting
Popping
on
a lot
the
of
little
subs.
shot. Okay, I was wondering. You can get spicy with the Jace. We all know you can get spicy with the Jace. I was like, are you prepping to be a little bit of a bully up there? Nah, you're not too worried. So going back to the safe line, and for Zeze, of course, just scaling on up. It's yeah, I just like watching that.
Just in his face.
Yeah. So I like the current status. A little bit of an invade though, and now fight on the bot side.
Oh, Rourke is getting engaged on, though. There's the shockwave to pick up, too. Zeze's in a lot of trouble. Goes out of the Cyclone. Hydroshi trying to fight, trying to trade out Rourke, but he's going extremely low. Clockwork Windup is going to beat up. Q is going to pick up the kill, and that is 2-0 going the way of Rourke's Kittens. That's exactly what they needed in this early game.
Yeah, and J Radius commanding death in that jungle side. A double shockwave landing so cleanly. I was a little bit surprised about that. I'm amazed the fight was chosen, and for Hydroshi and Zeze, you just kind of eat that one on the chin. Now, a little bit of a consolation prize on the bot side. Giga was able to help pick up a kill against Ashe in the bot side, so you are happy about that current position of the bot laners, but a nice shift of gold. Plus that blue buff, by the way, huge pickup for J Radius. Very, very happy about that current status while Psyduck. Good guy, good person support in this position, holding the weight for their ADC.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty massive, but now we're looking towards pushing our attention to these grubs. GMU already has quite a force mustered here. There's really effectively 4 members on these grubs, and it looks like Rourke's Kittens are just going to elect to let it go and put their attention towards Osu, who may or may not know how much danger he's in with how pushed up in this lane he currently is.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary with where you're at, but nice coverage right now. So for GMU, even though they lost out in one of the jungle presence fights, you're still holding on to a lot of that global objective presence. The main concern for me is around the second dragon. I would love to see Rourke and Rourke's Kittens be able to even the score and get a dragon back for themselves instead of allowing GMU to basically get away with all of the global objectives. You don't want to allow them to get the grubs and the dragons throughout the entirety of the early game. I think Rourke has enough power at the current moment to deal some damage back and to actually contest those objectives.
So Fish is definitely getting the upper hand in this top lane. If we just look at the CS differential, almost a 40 CS lead. I think it's about 35 right now here in favor of Fish. Getting the better of this Scion-based matchup, for sure. Oh, wow. That is a very, very low Scion. Fish has so much damage here. Is he going to go for this dive? He would have to do it solo. He's very low. There's the shockwave. Not going to be enough. So is just probably going to elect to recall here in the top lane is Wykes. But yeah, that's a lot of power going over to Fish.
Yeah, it's helping, but this dragon is really where I'm looking at. Of course, it is being given up pretty heavily. Zeze isn't in range, so Ocean will be going over to Rourke's Kittens. They properly set up for it. I'm very glad that I was talking about it earlier. They did position to basically cover all the angles. They prioritized both bot and mid to help on out. So you're pretty happy about that dragon take, and it's Infernal Soul, so you are very happy you contest it, or depending on how the next fights shake out. But I do appreciate that we're now going to have some scrappy dragon battles.
Yeah, from this point forward, I think nothing is going to go uncontested. Both teams are looking fairly even in the gold department, only about a 500 gold differential, maybe even less than that. And I have to imagine that a solid chunk of that is sitting right on Fish. But there is a nice little CS lead in the bot lane for Rourkes Kittens on the Ashe. So there's it seems like power is kind of being traded. So a little top heavy here for GMU, a little bottom heavy maybe for Rourkes. But I think the next objective we're going to see some really cool stuff as the enchanted crystal arrow comes out. Giga forced to flash away.
I mean, Giga was just trying to get a ward down and get a little bit bully heavy, but I mean, it loses the flash, so you want to get a little bit more aggressive. Rourke trying to get a little bit of a mid lane gank, but for Zay's been playing relatively safe here. After that jungle fight, and you're still skilling up, you have the Rod of Ages, so there's no reason for you to outright fight, which makes sense. I think everyone's just kind of playing for the next objective. We're looking at the Herald being the next big objective a little bit later, which might be coverage in, but the Dragon as well in 3.5, that should be where a lot of people's priority is being laid.
Yeah, and I think, this early game so far has actually been pretty controlled for what we might have expected, but Rourke's going to dash over the wall, just going to smack each other a little bit. That's kind of been the extent of the violence this early game, is maybe, we just smack each other and then walk our separate ways. A few fights here and there, but nothing, hyper crazy like we might have expected from previous weeks.
I mean, blood can still be drawn, especially in the mid game. So even though I did want to see, that early game fight, you could easily see a lot of fighting in the mid game where we see teams basically jockey for a lot of those tower pressure points when they're looking for the global objectives. There's a lot to be watching for. For Osu though, you're still in this bot side, just like, dude, I'm trying to survive down here, and you're doing okay for it. It's still frustrating, but I mean, you're holding on. You're 20 CS down. That's to be expected considering Giga hasn't been there for about 25% of the time. I like what GMU are doing so far. In terms of gold, they are very narrowly up, and they hope to continue it into this kind of mid-game spike where they can use Hydroshi, where they can use Zay to reposition, and where Fish gets to utilize their CS lead with that Serpent's Fang as well.
Oh, Rourke is here to try and do something, but Hydroshi in the wings is going to get spotted out. They're not going to make an issue out of this. That 2v2 is not very Rourke's favorite, so Rourke just wisely just walks away as Wykes just backs off there in the top lane.
By the way, I've done this before in my solo queue, which is probably why I keep losing, but I would love for Osu to actually TP up to the top side and just throw a satchel at the tower. Because it's the funniest thing to me. It should execute, I believe. I think it's still like true damage on the tower pressure. If you do that, you get first tower, you don't have to fight for it. I would find that the funniest thing. Unfortunately, TP was already used, but it is a very funny thing when teams like hardcore prioritize the Ziggs tower taking. It's just like you watch the other team just actively go like, I hate Ziggs.
Yeah, with Dragon being the next spawn, I don't think a lane swap to make that happen is quite on the table. Not. But I think after Dragon, I think there's a really good reason to just say, yeah, let's just lane swap it. You know what I mean? Like, why are we down here anymore?
Yeah, don't do it around a major objective, please. Don't do it when your team actually needs the TP. Do not do that. Like I said, I lose a lot by doing that. I lose a lot of games like that.
But yeah, Dragon, I think Dragon control right now is the objective. So I think people are, Dragon in a sub-minute, people are starting to think like, okay, how are we going to get our position, our vision for this objective? Oh, Giga, wow, going very low there. Oh, it looks like not even going to be needed there in the top lane. Looks like a fight's going to break out. Hydroshi comes through with the cycle. There it is, so much damage. Giga goes down, and a double kill for J Radies in the back lane, but Zay is also going to fall. That's 3 members down. In the top lane, action doesn't stop as Fish picks up his solo kill, getting something on the other side of the map, but that's 3 members down for GMU, and the Dragon is now going to be looked at for 20 seconds. I think death timers are just short enough to where one more defense can get mounted here for GMU, but Osu potentially looking to get dove here. Rourke is going to start it. There's the dash forward. Get blasted away. Osu in a lot of trouble here. Going to go down, and Rourke is on a killing spree.
So clean. And again, for Rourkes Kittens, I said I want to see them fight, as even this fight might be a little dangerous.
Giga, what are you doing? He's going in 1v2, and actually probably a 1v3, getting slowed up, auto, and that's going to be enough with the rapid fire from the Ashe. And now Dragon is basically uncontested as the support and the ADC, APC, and the Ziggs are gone for GMU. There is no damage, there is no engage.
I don't know if that was the plan or not, if thinking you could kill the Ashe would be good, but you don't have the Serpent's Fang. Maybe it was just a bit of, hey, it's a lowly ADC, it's no worries, which theoretically is correct. Let's go all the way back though. That Shockwave again from J Radius. I mentioned before, it's a very standard composition that they have here, and I will say I have my reservations about Orianna's. Sometimes we see Orianna's have the Shockwave, have the impact, and never get to actually play with their team. It feels like the Orianna is just there for the Shockwave only. It's been so good though in these team fights where we see Rourkes Kittens have a phenomenal start to these fights, blowing up Giga, blowing up Hydroshi, who are both very squishy at this current time. They're all damage, no HP. I like what Rourkes Kittens are doing, and also shout out to Wild Psyduck. Those encores are coming out so quickly. There is no hesitation in, I will take the fight. We will fight it whether we think we're going to catch 1 or 3 or 5. I love that they are pulling that trigger so quickly.
Yeah, and just setting up like these great shockwaves for J Radius, like you said. And like we're getting to the point where like Camille stonks are like starting to go down while Samir stonks are like just right, or Seraphine stonks are just like through the roof, right? These mid-game team fights is where Seraphine is really going to shine. And I don't know if Giga has made the kind of mark on this game that is necessary to kind of justify such an aggressive early game pick as the Camille. But maybe, what do I know? I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I don't know either, but I will say that at least in that range, I give a lot of credit to the Seraphine. We're seeing why it's so pick and ban by a lot of teams.
Yeah. It's such a powerful teamfight combo, and then you pair that with the Ashe. There's just so much engage possibility for the side of Rourkes Kittens, and they're using it great. And now we look at the gold lead, and it's looking like 3K in favor of Rourkes. So they're starting to swing this game heavily in their favor, which is exactly what you need to do when you are 0-2 in the bracket. So
I like this play. You're just fighting it out. Oh, and the body block. That's, yeah, you got to force the ult out. This is the other side of it. Are they going to try and fight back though?
Oh, we're coming with the Cyclone. There's the going up on the fish. There's one more in the tank. It doesn't land, but it does knock up Hydroshi. But Rourke is now going to be the focus. Going to take so much damage and going to go down. Turning down onto Yikes. Yeah, the Encore does unfortunately whip from Psy, but that's not. Oh, Psyduck, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, brother. Gonna take the heat off Wykes. Wykes is gonna be able to limp this one out. Oh, but that's really unfortunate there on the side of Rourkes as the picks come through.
And this is the other side of the coin, though. We talked about how Rourkes Kittens are winning a lot of these fights. Well, that was without Fish in the mix. GMU this time, they ply their trade with their strongest player in the mix. 8.99K in the bank, the highest in the game right now. And you swing onto the weakest member of the team. And I do feel that Rourke had an idea. Hey, we can take this fight, we can fight back, this is great. Did not respect that Fish is a monster right now, got blown up so quickly, and then you see that kind of straggling in from Wild Psyduck when they kind of hit a brick wall with the Encore. It was just a pixel off on that shot, right? It sucks that that happened. Are they out of the woods yet? No. Did it swing the goal back? Yes and no. Ashe is in trouble.
Giga going for the engage. Hydroshi going in. There's the pillar. Giga going super low. Almost down. Hydroshi just cannot withstand the damage, but is going to get traded over. The Ashe goes down. There's the damage for the jungler. Zay is going to dodge up the shockwave, but the ulti comes through for the Zion. So much damage. Zay, you're in trouble. Oh, there's the super mega inferno bomb from Osu. Picking up the double kill is Fish, sealing the deal with his massive damage that he's been racking up in this top lane as Yikes. It's Wykes and Rourke limp to the mid lane, dropping the Herald, trying to get something on the way out, but otherwise, fight favoring GMU to some degree. Oh no, what is happening here now? Rourke's in a bit of trouble here as Giga's going in. Yike's gonna try to walk him out, but I think that is gonna be the end of the play finally. Who gets the better end of that one? Orbital.
Nobody, if you're taking every fight into account. If you're taking just the fight itself, though, I will give credit over to Rourkes. Rourkes were doing okay at the start of that battle. By the way, Ashe stayed alive for way longer than I expected. But the fact that Zay was able to peel off for a majority share of that battle and Fish was able to survive, the main carries, I think, did well enough that the gold swing isn't that big. The main thing now is recognizing that everyone has that go button, everyone has a catch potential, and if anyone steps out of line, both teams are willing to pull that trigger and bring the fight to you. So here in the mid game, I said it before, this is where blood is made and this is where blood is drawn. Around these dragons, around these objectives, around 5v5s.
And here we are posturing right now for the Dragon. GMU has full position, but the enchanted crystal is going to come through. Fish is going to explode before the fight even begins. Rourke going with the Cyclone. That's so much damage. O2 in trouble, forced to back away. Hydrosi going to take the full brunt of the damage. Giga goes down as well, and that's the team fighting power of the Rourkes Kittens draft.
You know, I said these 5v5s, and what I meant to say is Rourkes is the only one really built for a full 5v5. GMU, as I said, was a damage overload. Their kit was built around being not standard. They weren't meant to 5v5. They're meant to overwhelm. They're meant to pick off an opponent. As you said earlier, that drift. But when a team like Rourkes Kittens is able to accelerate, force plays, and dictate where battles go, they can do things like this. That entire fight went front to back as clean as you could ask. By the way, Wykes with a mid lane unstoppable force straight down the riverside had the like cleanest straight up strike I've ever seen on Giga. That hurts, by the way. Huge job and well done by Rourkes Kittens.
Yeah, what a just a great one. What's the name of that ulti from the side, if anyone has that for me? In the chat or
Onslaught.
Otherwise. Unstoppable Onslaught. And it's following the Encore. It's just such a beautiful setup. Enchanted Crystal Arrow, into Encore, into Onslaught, and that's just the end of the fight right there. Like, Fish, the strongest member, unfortunately he stepped a little too far forward, and when your strongest guy goes down at the very beginning of the fight, there is no fight. It's just Rourkes Kittens all the way, and they get a Baron for their troubles as well. So now we're gonna have to see, what are they gonna do with this power play? Is it gonna be a 5-man mid, or are they gonna elect for some kind of split push to maximize the effects of this Baron? Enchanted Crystal Arrow going on to Giga. Giga going very, very low. There's the Hextech Ultimatum, but it's not going to be enough to get him to safety. Giga goes down, and now the power play begins. It's not just a Baron play, but it's a 4v5.
It might not be a power play itself, but they are showing that they are going to take the gold where they can. And we mentioned that the siege potential from GMU is strong. Well, if you just kill the opponent, well, guess what? You got one as well. That's going to be... Oh, you got it!
Fish gets cancelled! But is there any damage coming? The Unstoppable Onslaught isn't going to land, but the damage is going to come through. There's the Q getting charged up as Yikes
Rourke's on his way.
Slowly but surely, punch, 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 but Rourke is on the way. He's creeping through the bushes, and he is going to come. Oh, I think it's just... Whoa, another fight bringing out near the Baron pit as Hydroshi goes down. Zay double kill for Ash. TP coming through. Yikes is now in the mix.
Oh my
Giga's
god.
Gonna get knocked up. Shockwave. Bounce house. There's no reprieve for Giga. Oh, he's spinning the end of such terrible engages as Rourke is now looking to potentially just end this game 1.
I don't think they have the time to fully end, but they can easily get the inhibitor. They can also probably get a Nexus tower for their own, but I mean, clear out the bot side. This is crazy work. And by the way, this is recognition by Rourkes Kittens. This is recognition that at this point, you have the gold lead. This is what I like to call wallet fighting. They are wallet warriors. These are whales coming into your mobile games and just buying out the entire server. It's annoying, but it works. And when you have the money, you can do as you wish, which is what we saw. By the way, shout out to Wykes. Quarter HP, knew they were going to have a massive HP shield coming in. TP to help in that mid lane fight. Help pick up Giga on the end. They are swinging their wallets around and saying, we are paying to play.
You know, maybe I've just been playing too much solo queue recently, but sometimes I feel like that shield on the teleport, like the buffed teleport for top laners, the shield, it's just not worth it. But I think in that instance, it's like so worth it, right? When you just finish trading in the bot lane.
Yeah, it's such a timing thing because you have to guess, is the fight going to happen right away? Because if you TP too late, well, even that's like 4-second transition is worthless anyway. But if you TP too early, you don't get the 10% HP buff. And it's just, or not 10%, I forgot what the shield amount is. It's a lot though, and you are right. If you don't time it, especially in solo queue where you don't always have comms, it's so hard to get maximum efficiency out of that HP shield.
Yeah, but paying off beautifully there for Yikes as he TPs in and finishes up that play. Now Rourkes just in such a great position here. You know, they may be 0-2 in matches, but they aren't looking like that right now as the Enchanted Crystal comes over on Hydroshi. There's the Cyclone. Hydroshi going very, very low here. Where's the damage? It's not getting focused. Flash out the Shockwave. There's the bomb landing onto. Oh my gosh, as now the fight seems to be flipping the way of GMU. 2 kills picked up. J-Radius step too far forward. Giga picks up the kill. Realm Warp forward. Psyduck is now going to be the focus. Where's the E? The cooldown is coming through. That's a lot of damage on the Giga, but there is no real sustained damage to follow this up. Hydroshi, oh! Steps too far forward. Giga, the execute damage on the Q is going to pick up the kill, and now GMU are in position to take this dragon.
A little bit of a beat drop by Wild. Psyduck feels good on the end, but the entire battle felt like an overstep, and maybe I talked a little bit too soon. The Wall of Warriors overstepped. They didn't have the strategy. They fell apart under the weight of GMU, and with this dragon, it's not... You know, it's not going to change everything. You're still 5k behind, but it gives you a little bit more weight behind your aggression. And for Fish, who does need to be that aggressive state, does need to be that proactive, get the Shock Blast down and everything with the bombs from Osu, they found a reprieve. They found a couple shutdowns. They are able to get 3 kills in there. They are going to be really happy that they didn't lose a single member and they got a dragon off of that. I'm very excited to see what this late game has in store.
Yeah, and like for the Inferno Bomb from Osu in that fight did a lot of damage. This guy is starting to scale. The Ziggs is starting to become pretty scary. Ashe has been dominant like this entire game in terms of like the damage charts, but I think that might be starting to be Osu's time to shine as he just commits so much damage there to flip that fight around. And yeah, the Shockwave also getting flashed out, super clutch there. So yeah, these fights are getting pretty hairy. We'll have to see if Rourkes can kind of rein in that aggression a little bit. Can't just arrow everything on screen, as we're finding out based on that last play.
I mean, you can definitely try. I'm not saying you can't. It's just the resounding issue might be a little bit of a problem. But if you get the Cyclone, it's huge.
There's the arrow, misses out on ZZ. There's the Cyclone. Hydroshi going, taking all the damage, gonna get knocked up, gonna get stuffed the E. There's the Encore going through, but it's not gonna find anyone. ZZ in so much trouble. So much damage from the rapid fire on the Ashe. J-Radius going forward. There's the unstoppable onslaught. Osu is gonna dodge it up, but it's gonna take the full brunt of the damage. And J-Radius finishes up the kill. Fish running back home to try and save this game, but it's a 4v1. Can he even defend this base?
I mean, Jace Gaming is only Jace Gaming if you're winning, and I don't know if you can.
Oh no, there's the damage, there's a GA, so even if the tower shots are enough, which they aren't going to be, Ashe is going to survive. The first Nexus will fall, tower will fall, the second Nexus tower will fall, and finally the Nexus as Rourkes Kittens go up 1-0 in this Week 3 matchup.
Loved every single moment of it. Well done by Rourkes Kittens, and they were out for blood. And this goes back to what I said. Even in their losses, they were willing to be very bloody. They were willing to fight it out. And when I saw their draft, I had a lot of hope, right? Their draft was as meta as you could possibly have. Seraphine, Ashe, Sion, like these are all high tier meta picks. Maybe not super S tier if you look at like tier 1 scene, but in any standard composition, this is like your bread and butter. You made a perfect BLT and you made GMU eat it. Well done to Rourkes Kittens.
Yeah, I really like that composition. And something that I like from GMU's draft, we noted from the very beginning they were going to have to make it really scrappy early on, which I don't think they were able to find those angles to make that happen. It felt to me like GMU was playing in a style that almost felt like we also wanted to team fight. But the team fight draft was there for Rourkes, and it wasn't quite there for GMU. So I think with some draft adjustments, we might get some crazy team fight compositions in this game too. What do you think, Orbital?
I definitely think so. I'm looking at Fish, who still, in my eyes, looks like a very dominant force. It does feel bad, though, for Giga, who was very active on the map. It just didn't work out like they wanted. I really attribute that to Rourkes specifically, who was able to shut down, you know, Hydroshi in the jungle early and be that menace. That wasn't allowing the opponent to get off the ground, which Giga, unfortunately, kind of ate at the same pace. But again, game 2 is a different beast. You can't play the same champions, so a little bit of a shift in there might be good for GMU. However, Rourkes Kittens, beautiful work.
We'll have to see, can GMU adjust, or will Rourkes Kittens finally get their first match win? You don't want to miss it. We're going to a break, but be right back here for this Week 3 DMV Tour action.
You know I gotta come back. You know I gotta get the racks. You know I gotta get them M's. You know I'm never gon' slack. 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 You know I always bring it back. You know I always bring it back, 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 back. You know I'm never gon' slack. You know I'm never gon' slack. You know I always bring it back. You know I always bring it back, 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 back. What do they want from me? Going country. Yeah, they love me up there and down there too. When I'm doing the shows, all of the roads, man, they be going so crazy. You know I'm never gon' slack. 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 You know I always bring it back. You know I always bring it back, 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 back. You know I'm never gon' slack. You know I'm never gon' slack. You know I always bring it back. You know I always bring it back, 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 back. You know I'm never gon' slack. You know I'm never gon' slack. You know I always bring it back. You know I always bring it back, 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 back. You know I'm never gon' slack. You know I'm never gon' slack. You know I always bring it back. You know I always bring it back, 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 back.
Good evening, guys, gals, and other pals, and welcome back to week 3 of the DMV tour. We're looking at Rourkes Kittens versus George Mason University. Rourkes Kittens up the set 1-0 after honestly a pretty strong performance from Rourkes Kittens, which is might be not what you would have expected from their record. They're definitely punching above their weight class right now.
Yeah.
Orbital, what do you want to see in this game too?
I want to see fun. Honestly, I think Rourkes Kittens came out. I mentioned that in their previous game losses, it's been tough, I guess is the only way to really put it. They fought very hard. They played against some great teams, but it just never really worked out in their favor, and it felt like they got the comp they wanted, and they said, screw feeling uncomfortable, we're just going to fight. It didn't help the side of GMU that their composition itself was a little bit fragile, had a lot of really good damage and a lot of ability to fight back. But when you lose out that heavily, there's no way to rebound, right? And so in that position, GMU's fragile kind of Voss composition shattered under the weight of a very stable composition on the other side. So really big shout out to Rourkes Kittens. I just hope they can build that type of composition back again for game 2.
Yeah, I mean, the pool is obviously going to be quite a bit different. There's no more Ashe, no more Seraphine. You don't get these like huge wombo combo engages, but there's still some stuff hiding in the wings, and we'll have to see as what these teams pull out as they reach into their bag of goodies. And I do believe we are closing in on draft here in just a moment. So we should be able to have that. Oh, not quite yet. Sorry, I'm hearing that. We do not have a draft yet. So, but yeah, I think I would like to see, I think just the way that that GMU played last game, I think just drafting a little more standard, trusting that we can make it to the mid game and late game and just team fight it out, I think they would have a much better time. And I think it would make for some really great gameplay as well. I think we would have just a great matchup. So I think that's what I would like to see personally. I don't know. Do you think they should maybe double down on that scrappy kind of play style and pick something that's, you know, something like a Shaco support?
Yeah, I think it depends on. This is probably really bad. I'm probably gonna eat my words. It depends on where they want to put a lot of their aggression. It feels like if you wanted to push up towards the top side of the map, you could. I think Fish had a very stable game overall. Granted, you're against a Scion, so like, what can you really say about that? Scion's always going to be relevant towards the mid to late. But even Zay, I mean, we talked about Zay getting a kill early on as well, so I like the idea, like you said, of being a little bit more stable in that drafting phase and then playing off of that. It's not that GMU didn't get early kills, it's that they failed to facilitate it into any meaningful lead after that, right? Maybe putting Hydroshi and Zay into a more battery-esque composition and giving them a little bit more power as a duo, taking over against J-Radius, you know, things like that. 100% I would agree that can be done. I'm not sure what champions it can be done with. We saw the double bans of the junglers earlier
I think that was pretty critical.
I do wonder if that should be changed a little bit, you know, pick up the jungler first on the side of GMU.
I think, honestly, if Hydroshi was on something like a Jarvan or a Vi, that game could have gone much differently.
Yes.
Like, a lot of those fights, a lot of these, it's like a single pillar does not a CC make in most cases. And I think if there was just something with a little more reliable CC, a little more reliable follow-up or engage, then they could have absolutely popped off. So the Trundle was an interesting pick, but I just don't think it had quite the impact that a more skirmishy, maybe even something like a Lee Sin, right, could have been really cool. If you feel comfortable on those kinds of things. But we'll have to see.
I still like the J4 and Vi, though. I'm still going to lean towards the J4 and Vi.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe grabbing those in the first wave and not saving your jungle for counter pick just so you can secure one of those priority picks. They are still available. They have not been fiercely banned. So we'll have to see what adjustments. And from what I'm hearing is that these teams are switching sides. So GMU is going to be blue side. So they are going to have first pick. They're going to set the pace for this draft. Whereas Rourkes Kittens are going to be a little more on the reactive side of things. So I wonder how that's going to change their draft strategies.
I would assume so. I mean, what did we see last time? Let me go double check and make sure I have my notes. I'm very much prepared. Don't worry. We saw the Belveth, we saw the Mel, and we saw the Yone before, and then the Bard, TF, and the Cassiopeia. How
Oh, it
is
looks
that
like
going to lay out on the flip? Maybe the Belveth goes away and you just give that over because Tiroshi didn't look that great? I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to see. But it looks like we are heading into draft right now, so we do get to find out. The suspense is over. We're going to take a look at what these teams are drafting. And here's GMU up first with their B1. What's it going to be? I think this B1 is going to tell us a lot about what GMU wants to do.
Yep.
Cassiopeia.
And already,
okay.
To be fair, the opening is probably going to be the standard, I assume. No changes in the opening 6. No changes in the opening 6.
And I think, like that Cassiopeia, and if we do look at those picks like Cassiopeia, Twisted Fate, Bard, those are like, the Cassiopeia kind of shuts down like a lot of dashes and things like that, right? So it's pretty good in skirmishes. And TF and Bard are just hyper mobile and they're able to stuff these cross map plays. So I think that's still telling us that GMU is opting for the scrap. They don't have like a mode 2 that they've like workshopped somewhere where they're like, oh, we'll switch up our bands and we'll switch up the draft. I think they might still want to be playing like high dash, high tempo champions here in this early game, if my crystal ball is telling me correctly, but what do I know?
Or if it's not and it's laughing at you, that's the other side of it, right? You just shake it and you realize it's saying loser. That's been mine, unfortunately. So
But okay, a little bit of an adjustment here. We're seeing a Rel ban as opposed to a Twisted Fate ban.
Okay. So going for more of the team fight scenario. I like this because it shows that they're putting emphasis, GMU is putting emphasis on their bottom lane, giving a little bit more weight to maybe Giga and saying, okay, if we're going for a support, like a utility, like a Karma, maybe a little bit more, I think the Karma is the main one in my eyes. I could see them not wanting to deal with that Rel. Just keep that Rel away. Don't allow the other side to be as brutal as they were with that Seraphine before. So Psyduck was very good on that Seraphine.
Oh yeah, and I'm a little bit that's a Orin band. So I think GMU are trying to use maybe their priority picks to like secure themselves a really nice team fight composition, or just deny the premier teamfight options from Rourkes so they can have a little more success with a kind of aggressive high tempo composition. But I'm a little bit out of the meta. I've seen a few, I watched MSI a little bit, but I'm not super plugged in. How are clerics, like hard clerics like Nami's and Milios faring? Is it really just like a Lucian?
Did you really call them clerics?
Hey, is my age
Did you
showing
really?
Right
oh, hold up. Are you bringing out like World of Warcraft levels of terminology? Are you just a big isekai fan? Like where are we pulling clerics out of, bro?
Oh no, my before Riot stamped enchanter onto my beloved clerics.
We do have to detour because these picks are pretty standard, Rumble, Gnar, and everything. Tell me where you got clerics from. I want to hear where clerics came from.
Maybe it is just I don't know, just like RPG terminology. I just consider, okay, if you got a big heal, you're a cleric. If you got a big shield, you're a cleric. You know what I mean? You're keeping your team alive. You're a cleric. I don't know. Maybe that's I've just been JRPGing so long at this point.
The worst part is I like it. I'm so mad that it works. The problem is I don't think they're clerics because I also play D&D, and clerics are known as the dumbest DPS out there in 5e. So
what is it? Oh god, it's the 3rd level spell. The spirits, right?
It's Smite, right? Oh, Spirit Guardians. Spirit Guardians is what you're
Spirit Guardians, and then you throw like Sanctuary on them with another cleric, and then hey, there you go.
Yeah, it's brutal. I will say though, if there is ever a cleric in League of Legends, it is Taric. 150%. It is Taric.
Yeah,
like Taric is the cleric. We're talking
the clericist of cleric. Ooh, Zyra Khan coming out for GMU.
Yeah, there we go.
That's team fight if I've ever seen team fight. So okay, they are making the adjusts. But the Vi and the Rumble, that's a little more like setup, right? So you're looking for like a kind of a wombo combo composition here for RK. So I like this. This is cool. They're almost like flip-flopping a little bit, but I think the wombo combo is looking really cool from RK. They had really good combos last game, with some of the more meta picks. But here, like Vi Rumble, I'm really liking that. What else are they going to pick to round this thing out?
I think they're just gonna go. I don't know about the Caitlyn. Well, granted, ADC wise, it's a little bit safer, so I get it. trying to bully out the Xayah Rakan is not bad. I am worried about the top side of the map though, because whenever I see a Vi Rumble, normally I want to see a much more heavy engage to draw them all closer in. But at the same time, the Vi Rumble on its own as a battery, if you're looking on the top side, it gives a lot of weight to just cookability. And against the Gnar, the catch potential is huge. Catch a Gnar and mini Gnar, you cook them down, you win pretty much, really, really easily. Not only that, if you're able to cook fish, you get grilled salmon, and you win that way too. But it's the idea of we need a little bit more weight on the top side of the map, and this is definitely not the same team fight composition that we saw before, unless we're going for a more CC oriented mid lane. The Orianna was really good at it. I don't know any other mid laners outside of Syndra that have that level of setup, right? So that's what I'm kind of worried about in there for Rourkes Kittens right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like the hard setup, yeah, it's really like just the Orianna, and then Cassiopeia is also banned, so you can't get like a really juicy ultimate there. But I mean, Victor kind of with the field. If you place that on top of the Vi target, you can get like some kind of stun, but it's not as reliable as just I press R and I shockwave, or with the Syndra getting that force of will and just like getting a huge stun across the team. So we'll have to see what the mid lane pick is going to be here for RK. But I have to imagine it's either, I think it's just probably going to be some kind of setup in some form that I just can't think of right now. Okay, Nautilus, I love that. I think that's a great pick.
Yeah. So it doesn't, I wouldn't say it matches with the Caitlyn. Normally we associate Nautilus with like a Zeri or something, but considering the rage differential already, I don't dislike that. You can set it up with Vi. This is a very like 3-man combo with the Caitlyn behind. I like what Meow are doing. For GMU, you now have to follow up with the Gnar. I need to see them have another engage tool rather than just the Rakan Gnar. Rakan is good, but I want to see a heavier engage from that jungle with the Gnar to really cement a hard team fight for GMU this time around.
Jarvan is still available, but I don't know if you want to look towards that when you're up against a Rumble, because that can just make your team fights go really sideways really quickly. Okay, Victor's going to be the look. That's great. But I think the jungler is going to tell us everything we need to know about this GMU composition and how it's going to go. Okay, so they are looking towards that Jarvan.
Yeah. This also could be a very quick double-edged sword. It's very, very scary if you cataclysm at the wrong time. Get the Rumble, get the Vi, all of a sudden you are just cooking yourself and you are just dead. Same view as on the flip though, because if J4 gets a really good cataclysm, you can land the victory, you can land everything. It's going to boil down, I think, to another mid-game team fight where we just watch the teams kind of shatter into each other. And I mentioned the Syndra before. Galio can do some work. I think this is a shift. This Syndra was the original idea, but with the Victor and J4 on the mix, having that Galio safety to keep the Caitlyn alive is a much better standard, I think, and it doesn't leave you as vulnerable in there. So for Rourkes Kittens, a little bit safer overall composition, but still has a lot of impact.
There's also the cheeky combos of like the Vi with the unstoppable, or sorry, not the cease and desist going in, and then the Galio coming down, just dropping on top, and then you throw a Rumble on top of that. There's a lot of CC combo, a lot of wombo here for RK. GMU are now looking for the more standard, we kite back, maybe Jarvan gets engaged, throw a gravity field on top of that, throw some Gnar people into the Cataclysm. There's some also interesting combos from GMU, but it's not quite as like combo oriented as we're seeing from RK. And I think last game RK pulled off a really nice wombo combo composition. With that extra team fight, we'll have to see. They're leaning even more into that combo now. Like the combo really has to be successful. The beginning of that fight has to go crazy good. Whereas GMU, if they can just survive that initial engage and then kite back, the Xayah is going to get so much value. So we'll have to see what happens. But I think we are ready to jump here into game 2. I believe, yes, we are loaded in, ladies and gentlemen. It is game 2. RK up 1-0 in the series in this week 3 DMV tour.
And I want to dive a little bit deeper into what you talked about right there. The idea that the kiting from GMU is a little bit better. It's not just that, by the way. That is a beautiful Galio skin. I think that's the newer one that they released.
Is that the Mecha one?
I think it is, but it's adjusted. I don't know what they did with it.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'm stun locked by that. I had an idea and then I lost it. For GMU, it's not just the kite ability, it's the fact that I know you said for the side of Rourkes Kittens, they have a good wombo again. That's all the comp really has. So their composition can quite literally only go forward, and it's more apparent. I want to make that very, very clear. Because GMU, they also have wombo. You look at the J4, you look at the Rourkes, you look at the Gnar. This can set up to a nasty 4 to 5 man stun combination without Rourkes Kitten realizing it. The difference is, as you said, they have the variety. They have the peel ability away where they can choose to walk backwards. If a Rumble goes in, if a Gallia goes in, if a Nautilus goes in, they're in. They don't have a choice to back away. So that's the important distinction that I want to make sure everyone keeps in mind here.
Yeah, and Wild Psyduck throwing these keys really early on. I guess last week, maybe we were spoiled a little bit by Z8. I don't know if you watched last week's matchup, Orbital, but Z8 on that Nautilus was just hook after hook after hook. It looked like the man couldn't miss, so seeing like a normal gameplay from a Nautilus, maybe we were just a little bit spoiled there, but cool to see. I do love me some Nautilus. Hope we get some cool ults and hooks and shenanigans going on in the mid late game. But you know what? I just realized where that. I think I realized where that Galio skin is. If you play TFT, that's the Mecha Galio skin. That's
is that Mecha or is that the KO Coliseum? He never had a KO Coliseum one, right?
I don't think so. But like, I think it might be Mecha Kingdoms is that, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe somebody behind the scenes or in the chat can tell us exactly what skin that is. But I think whatever skin that is, it's being used as the Mecha skin in TFT right now. This set's pretty good. I've been having some fun with it. Whoa! There's a lot of burn coming down. Flash forward, and that's gonna be it! Oh, before you could even blink, Yikes is saying it's battle time. I'm not a Scion anymore. I got damage.
Alright, I wasn't expecting that quick of a kill. Normally you can range out of it, but Fish just drastically underestimating damage sources. So, really big misstep, and all of a sudden the Rumble gets a free 400 gold. That's an Amp Tome. That supersedes any MR that you were going to pick up.
Yeah, that's brutal. I was not expecting that damage either. I was like, okay, Fish, it's looking a little. You're getting a little fried here, like you said, some fried salmon. Which, ooh, I love fried salmon, by the way. Got a great oven recipe for anybody who wants it. Just hit me up. I got you. But oh, the engage here coming through on the attack dog. But yeah, it's just gonna be some light trading. But yeah, that was a crazy, crazy play, and Yikes in a different fashion, different form than in game one, for sure.
Oh, no way.
Hydroshi's here. But the counter gank from Rourke, and then Roasty Toasty Hydroshi forced to dash away. Says, I don't want any part of this. Rourke does have flash available, probably just waiting for the Q to come off cooldown. Here it comes! Oh, the flash in the last second. He's going to get buffered out. Hydroshi taking Q after Q. The twin missiles. He's going to be able to walk this one out, but a great flash from Rourke, and that play gets turned on its head. Wow, RK punching back in game two.
Happy non-birthday. That's all I heard right there. That was a very rude surprise in there. And Rourkes Kittens. We were talking of GMU a little bit. You know, the squad that has a huge potential to really be a massive squad. But Hydroshi getting bullied. Fish getting bullied. Zay in the mid lane is holding even, which is what a victor should do, and now Osu and Giga are now falling behind. Rourkes Kittens with 2 losses under their belt. We said that they needed to look further into their season to get those 3 wins, or else they're going to get there much later, right? They're showing that they can get wins if they throw off this kind of shroud of uncertainty, because this series does not look like an O2 teams series at all.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they're looking pretty commanding, at least in terms of the team fights that we saw from last game. And now this early game, you know, the reads are really great. I don't know if they just downloaded, you know, GMU over the break and just like figured everything out. Like I don't know. But that's great. I mean, even also on the end of that, Rourke not only picks up the kill, but then bullies Hydroshi off his wolves and then gets another flash from Hydroshi. So there's even more stocks going over that way of RK. So they're putting on a great performance right now.
You know what it was? The Patriots dropped their playbook trying to drop the fake playbook and then accidentally dropped their real playbook. That's what happened. No. Yeah, they dropped their actual playbook and they're like, that's not the move that we thought it was. Can we change that, please? Please give that back.
Wait a second. We're gonna need that one real quick. Please, forget everything you saw. Where's the Men in Black neuralizer when you need it, right?
Yeah,
Just
right.
a quick flash.
Please. now, granted, the game isn't over. We make it sound like it's over because it's not, but it's a good start. This is a great regame.
Yeah, and Hydroshi's already here for the counterplay. Yaxis White's getting the equalizer, going down on a fish, trying to make a roasty toasty
No
salmon
way.
sandwich, but it's not going to be enough damage. Hydroshi here, blocking off the escape. There is no escape. Hydroshi is covering all the angles, and that's another punch back from GMU. They will not go quietly into that good night in this early game.
Oh my gosh, that was so close, by the way. Very, very dangerous, and we're seeing more fighting on the bot side. Oh boy. Good ignite to go down. Osu, though, doesn't have to burn the barrier. Mainly, though, we are seeing GMU fight back, and I mentioned that for this composition, they do have a little bit more variety. They have a bit more versatility, which also means for the composition, once they started losing, it's not like they're completely out. They do have ways to slowly tailor team fights, even from behind. So I do give credit to this composition a little bit more than the game ones. Even if they fall behind 1,000, 2,000 gold, we can see them still come back into this game.
Yeah, they've got a great team fight. So by all means, the early game is not, you know, a death sentence here. For the lineup of GMU, but attack dog, the ulti is gonna get committed. There's the Q. Oh, the feather call is gonna be just not quite enough damage as Giga is forced to pick up the kill himself. Yeah, so GMU still breathing life in this game too.
It's only going to continue as well. Really, really appreciate that fight once more.
By breaking out here in the mid lane as the season desist goes through, and Zay taking so much damage. There's the ulti coming through. Hydroshi gonna get very, very low here. Rourke wants it, and he's gonna get it. There's the kill, double kill going over to Rourke as he ascends to 3-0 at the 7-minute mark.
This is too clean. Okay, I don't understand how Rourke's Kittens are 0-2 in series count right now if they're playing this well. Like, they are showing some levels that I don't normally see from, like, tier 2 team, like, squads that I've seen played ridiculously well between each other. Like, this is very, very impressive. I need to give them credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, this, and even between like game 1 and game 2, they've drafted the comp with so much more agency, and they're using that agency just so well here with the counter gates, the counter plays. They're just always there, always on time. There's a song, an old song. I forget what it's called. I'll have to find it, but anyways, tangent over. But I'll have to find it. I'll have to pull it up sometime. Maybe we can get production to play it for y'all. But yeah, no.
You're just making production do everything. That's so mean, by the way.
Production. By the way, shout out to Kyle and production booth.
Yeah, you better
Just
do that
setting up
before they shut off your mic. You better do that before they shut off your mic, man. Like, they're gonna cut
Thank
you off,
Kyle.
bro.
As I get on my knees and beg and plead and offer my praises. But really, for real,
They're gonna punt you out of the booth, bro.
Just like, you're done. Let's find some other guy. At side deck, force the dredge line to safety here in the bot lane.
Alright, yeah, not that big a deal, but it is. God, there are a lot of old timey, like that Patriots joke, by the way, that's old. I'm pretty sure it's not even the Patriots. I think I got it wrong. I don't know. We're looking at a slam, though. Quick slam and damage overall as we take stock of where the current game is, and I do want to respect the fact that right now the game is pivoting around Rourke specifically. Rourke has been instrumental, obviously 3-0. Even in the KDA, you're seeing them do so, and they're 4 camps up as well. They are looking so aggressive.
Yeah, so forward. They're just snatching this scuttle away from poor Hydroshi, who's like scrounging for scraps here in the river. But they're just so coordinated. Look at how all 3 of them converge. They're like, we know you're doing this. You didn't fill out the proper paperwork to be able to take bot river scuttle. We're coming to stop this.
Yeah, and keeping this that sounds mean. Keeping this J4 down in the dumps means that you cut off a lot of the supply value that the J4 actually brings to the table as well. When you keep them down, normally they need their GA to really feel like that beast, like they can go in and sacrifice themselves, right? They're not able to do so right now. They are forced to play on a little bit safer note. They're not allowed to play on a reactive skill, and if they do, it usually means they're dead. So I like what Rourke is doing. Very aggressive, very overbearing in almost all the lane setups up except topside. But you're also rotating with J Radius. I mentioned this also before. I wanted to see these two on more, well, I said I think I was Hydroshi and Zeze. But even for Rourke and J Radius, I like seeing them be much more aggressive and be this battery that can rotate and cause havoc around the map.
Yeah, and this is the kind of early game that you exactly want, as Zay's gonna catch the depth charge, forced to burn Ghost, but is it gonna be enough to get to safety? I don't think so. Zay going extremely low, but Giga's here to save the day. Gets the shield off, and Zay does get to walk out to safety. Good rotation there from Giga.
That is so scary. But for Zay, it's just a, okay, I survived. I shouldn't have been there in the first place, even though you were relatively close to tower, by the way. I don't want to be mean. Excuse me. It's still scary. Huge respect to J Radius. We're going to see that happen a little bit more, especially with the dragon up right now. A lot more play around this next dragon, I think, for both teams.
Oh, this is looking to put some pressure onto Attack Dog here. But Psyduck is here to stop the probe. Nothing super crazy. But, you know, it is really rough here for Hydroshi, but it isn't the end of the world, right? So like it's brutal, and you do definitely want that GA to be able to make plays, and feel pretty confident about that. But you can still do things in mid-game team fights. You know, Cataclysm is just a button, right? And once the terrain is erected, if the team can follow up and rally around that, it's still a button that gets pressed, right? If that makes any sense. It still warps the matchup in the game. So, Hydroshi's here for the gank. There's the dive. There's the flash away from Yikes. As he gets the safety, TP is going to get channeled here. But I don't think much is going to come of it as J Radius immediately heads back towards the mid.
I think you're actually really happy about this setup, though, because you can fight res for the bot side.
Oh, there's the charm going through the quickness as the dash away, but the season desist is going to follow. Giga's in a lot of trouble, but the dash has so much range, gets to safety there. But now Osu and Giga have to figure this out. They can't stand by tower because the dive is deadly. There's the ultimate coming through, but Osu stranded on this island, away from his support, trying to channel the recall, but I don't think he's going to. It's just a matter of time now. There's the Q, there's the next Q, and he's going to go. But in the top lane, trying to trade it over. There's the equalizer doing so much damage across. But Yikes is going to be able to walk away using that damage from the equalizer and the flame spitter to walk out and dissuade any further aggression.
But he survived. That's illegal work. Like, that is for a reason. Hydroshi has spent nearly 2 minutes up here alone just trying to gank. And that's a heartbreaker. The fact that you were never really able to kill Wykes either. Wykes was able to recall each time, survive that last gank as well. That's devastating. Because you think about what was gone on the other side. Rourke got Dragon, got a kill, got a tower. What did you get, Hydrosi? Well, you lost 2 minutes, actually, in that vein. That hurts so much. And honestly, huge win for the side of Rourkes Kittens. This, though, might not be so much.
Yeah, that was a great flash there, but Hydroshi now getting caught up in some of this shenanigans. There's the ace in the hole coming through, so much damage. There's a TP in the backside. Oh, Fish is in deep. Attack Dog with the grand entrance, but it's not going to be enough.
Oh my
gosh! Entrance now to flip the fight as Fish goes down, first to fall. Hydroshi gets taunted, tries to turn around, forced to burn the flash. Attack Dog going forward. There's the dredge line picking up onto Giga. Giga going in with the grand entrance, but he can't get anything done. Forced to dash away right away, but J Radius going very low. Hydroshi in the jungle, but Rourke is looking for shenanigans. Finds Hydroshi lacking on his wolves and is going to pick up the kill. He says, I don't fight with my team. I'm a lone ranger in your jungle, finding you on your camps, and I will not get the boot off your throat.
I cannot believe what we just watched. I mentioned that for GMU. They're a composition that has variety. They are able to kind of back away from fights. They're able to step away and kind of kite back. But I didn't respect Rourkes Kittens' versatility in doing the exact same. By the way, the versatility of using the Vi as a buffer instead of an aggressor, keeping the likes of Fish away from a team fight, and then the jump in from J Radius, that R5 pick that quite literally has saved their teammates more often than not. This is beautiful work from Rourkes Kittens, a team that has seemingly here in week 3 of the DMV tour turned around their entire Swiss stage bracket run.
Yeah, I mean, this is commanding, right? Like GMU in the upper bracket right now, Rourkes Kittens in the lower bracket, honestly second to last in the standings from what we could see. They're not playing like that at all. Maybe this is the wind in their sails that they need to start to turn around this tournament for them. But they're looking really good right now. I'm really loving these plays. And if they can 2-0 GMU, that's going to send a message to the rest of the bracket to, you know, this is a team to watch. This is no longer a write-off.
No, and I fully expect it to get even better, I think, for the squad. The entire team itself just feels very, very put together. I have no other words for it. They feel very put together, and they feel like they are on the same page about everything that they want to do. Now, Attack Dog specifically was out of position in that last team fight, but the team kind of rallied behind. For an ADC, you're lucky that you have that level of range. But Rourke, again, big shout out to Rourke, 5-0-1, having that ability to get the kills, but also be very, very relevant on the map, always being in a team fight position. I love what they're doing right now. Constellation Prize over to GMU, they were able to get Tower, but Dragon being up in a minute should be the next focus, as Rourke and the rest of the squad kind of prime themselves, get the wards down, and cover vision.
Yeah, and you know, things aren't 100% over for GMU yet. While the gold lead is 3K here in the favor of RK, we see some signs of life. Like Osu is, you know, a Xayah. It's going to get very strong in these team fights the later the game goes. And also, as we start moving towards some of these more, I don't know, like standard kinds of fights, as opposed to like these really scrappy skirmishes, when if there's like a setup and an ingress or like, you know, standard fighting over these objectives can get the front to back, Osu could definitely flip these fights. I can totally see a nice, you know, like double or triple kill starting to flip things in the favor here for GMU if Rourkes go just a little bit too far for what they have. And they showed, flash force out here from Yikes, but they have shown, and in the previous game, Rourkes weren't 100% flawless, right? There were some dicey engages here and there that gave GMU an opportunity to swing some gold back. I think if those kinds of mistakes happen in this game, the composition from GMU has a potential to capitalize.
Oh my gosh. Wait, look at this dive. Zay. Oh no.
Oh no, Zay, you're in so much trouble. There's the cease and desist. And before we can even blink, he's off the map. Rourke and co. picking up a great dive here in the bot lane.
The thing is, this play itself was in response to the rotation from GMU on the top side. GMU actually rotated so many members up to the top lane, and Weiss actually called that one out, but Weiss is running interference, clearing the wave and also keeping everyone away, so they only got a plate in a tower, whereas on the bot side, you get a full tower. You get even more on the kill count. You get the dragon as well, and then you had your ADC pushing, so for Rourkes Kittens, you outmaneuvered in the macro GMU, who are making a desperation topside push. Well done by Rourkes Kittens right there.
Yeah, and I think, if this is just in my humble opinion, I think that Hydroshi might be putting a little bit too much focus on Yikes. There's a lot of ganks that Yikes has just like kind of equalized the wave. And whoa, there's Hydroshi with the Cataclysm on Attack Dog. Attack Dog going very, very low here. Grand Entrance does not find any as the flash comes through. TP to try and turn the fight. Yikes is here now. Giga skill flashing over the wall, trying to get the safety, but Hydroshi gonna get locked up. So much damage coming through. It is gonna be the death. There's the ulti coming through, and Osu maybe tries to this fight. He has a lot of feathers, but pushing forward, gonna get the pullback, but isn't really gonna get too much. Yikes is white, getting rooted. There's the dash forward by Fish. Fish doesn't push anything, but Psyduck is too far forward. Rourke's charging up the Q on the side. He's just gonna push it through the rafters, and that's gonna be the end of the fight. Attack Dog getting away with a sliver of HP, and punching back just a little bit is GMU.
I mean, the punchback, though, is such a consolation. It's a support. That's not who you want to punch. You want to punch the 600 gold bounty. You want to punch the 300, the 350 gold bounty. You got none of that, man. And that was a fight that GMU wanted as well. Beautiful retaliation coming out of Rourkes Kittens, who are slowly but methodically closing this game out. They have gotten everything. They have gotten 3 dragons. They got the early herald. They got the early grubs. They've lost out on basically nothing. And for GMU, with a good teamfight composition this time around, have been unable to even get off the ground. And that just hurts to say out loud.
Yeah. I think that last fight, there was some spark, a little bit of a spark, right? So a little bit going back, some flashes forced out early. It was a pretty ambitious play from Hydroshi. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, you don't get those big shutdowns. You're 100% right. But I think Rourkes Kittens were kind of put on notice just a little bit. If they had stepped forward just a little bit too far, one great Xayah E, one great Xayah Feather Call, that could really root up a lot of people in positions they don't want to be in. Gnar jumping on top of that with a storm. I think that fight could have gone really crazy, but Rourkes are playing it pretty methodically, pretty safe. So just things to keep in mind. as we're moving forward. Dash forward, Hydroshi going in. Psyduck in a lot of trouble. There's the quickness. Psychotic. Psyduck is going to go down. There's the Cataclysm on Attack Dog. Hydroshi going very, very low. Here's Rourke. Season Desist going all the way through.
Oh my god,
in
Attack
a lot
Dog.
of trouble. Oh, Osu. There he is with the Feather Call, but that's not going to be
my
enough.
god!
And it's going to be an ace for Arcade.
Rourkes Kittens, from a fight they chose and nearly lost, were able to come back in style, by the way. And I gotta give credit to Rourke once more. Attack Dog kiting for his life, but he's only an ADC. He can't keep everyone away. Rourke running interference. The team plays so dang well. I mean, every piece of this machine running like they've been oiled for years. So clean from Rourkes Kittens. And if this is a team that is at the bottom of the standings here at DMV Tour, that scares me for everyone on the upper side, because you know this team is now out for blood. Right now at 22 minutes, they have nothing standing in their way. I hate saying that, because GMU, they fought hard, by the way. Everything they're doing is right. They're just out of gold. They don't have the gold to do it, really. GMU are going to watch as Rourkes Kittens just close out this game.
Yeah, and Rourke, I mean, 7-0. I guess right now, the question maybe on Rourke's mind isn't so much, are we going to win? The 9K gold lead, you basically have all the tools you need to be able to do that. The question is, can I keep my flawless KDA when I'm smacking on the Nexus? So we'll see if that can hold true. But yeah, like the window of opportunity here is closing very rapidly for GMU. They would need a pretty strong miracle fight in order to mount the comeback in this game. So if you're an RK fan, you got to be pretty happy with this performance so far in here Game 2, Week 3.
I mean, I do want to see them close it out. I have like a 1% reservation that they're going to kind of throw by walking in and fighting randomly, but at the same time,
Cataclysm is going to get committed, but there's
no, it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. I'm so sorry, Myyt. That does not matter when you know J Radius has a like 450 bounty on them.
Oh wow, look at the damage of that ace in the hole, cease and desist. Ultis are going to get popped. Wow, just Fish is out of water right now, unfortunately. So much damage coming through. And here's going to be the over for Wildside. Gigascale is going to grant entrance away, but Rourke is here. There is no cease and desist, so no powerful ultimate to force the engage, which no doubt they probably would have done. But Dragon is going to go over the way of RK. And that is going to be Soul as well, too. Whoa. Things go from bad to worse.
It's just, yeah, this Mountain Soul now makes it even harder to kill. A team that was already hard to kill, by the way. Multiple kiting attempts, you know, this has been a showcase by Rourkes Kittens. Their only real hope, and I know this sounds horrendous, but it's true, their hope is Osu gathers every single bounty like the Dragon Balls and just powers on through. I'm not gonna lie, get all the bounties, get the Elder Dragon as well, and win from there. That's your hope.
Well, forcing the engage with the Grand Entrance and the quickness going in onto Attack Dog and J Radius, but this is not the time to be engaging as Hydroshi falls very, very low. Giga as well. The engage goes on to Osu. Osu pushed very, very low. Equalizer's gonna pick up enough damage. Flash forward from Yikes, and RK are looking to close this game out on the fountain. Damage is just coming through. Bolt after bullet from Ice Dog out of the sniper rifle. There's the net. Just bullying them on the fountain right now. There isn't much to be done in terms of mounting a defense here. Zay's going to try to do something. Hydroshi as well, but there isn't really much to be done as the cease and desist comes over. Flash is going to get into safety. Hydroshi in a lot of trouble, going very, very low, but Giga is the first to fall in the defense. The Nexus is getting turned on. Oh, Fish is going to fall, valiantly defending his base. Hydroshi is next, and they can't even pick up a single kill as Rourkes take the series 2-0, Week 3 DMV Tour.
I mean, what a turnaround. Shout out to Rourkes Kittens. I don't know what was said, what was done between the last series and this, but they came to play. Rourkes Kittens, a team to be feared, and I'm going to lay my hat down for Rourke, the captain, I'm assuming, but also their jungler, very, very prevalent throughout the entirety of this match. Everywhere at once is brutal to deal with.
Whew. That's wild. I mean, that's not what we expect from an 0-2 team at all.
No.
Like ever. That Wow. Like, I think that upsets a lot of people's brackets or a lot of people's like expectations. And I think,
Yeah.
you know, if you were like, oh, if we get matched up against Rourkes, if we're in the bottom bracket, and here's the thing. Rourkes are probably not going to advance to the upper bracket. They're probably going to keep GMU in the lower bracket. They're probably going to stay in the lower bracket themselves. They probably need one more week of wins. So I don't think there can be like a straight up run back. But if you're in the lower bracket and you were thinking, oh, I'm 1-0 and Rourkes was 0-2, you know, I'll be fine. That got flipped entirely on its head. Like I think if you are in the upper bracket, you are hoping and praying that someone can keep these guys out, because these guys are playing like tournament favorites, honestly, if those games are anything to go by. And GMU weren't, you know, I wouldn't say that they were like complete pushovers of a team. You know, they played, they had some punchbacks, like it was competitive, but Rourkes just had the moves, they had the reads. I think it was really just Rourkes' reads on the jungle that was just devastating.
Yeah, I would agree with her on that point. There needs to be something done, and I think they just kind of came into this maybe a little bit underprepared for the level of aggression coming out. So for GMU, it's a setback. It's not the end of the world, but it is a setback nonetheless. I expect them to be able to kind of fight this out a little bit more. I want to see what else they can do, and I'm sure they're going to be able to fight back at some point. So I will be very excited for both teams' futures. For GMU to be able to bounce back, and for the same side of Rourkes Kittens to see how far they can go.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the last of either of these teams. I think even though they may be in the lower bracket, they may remain there next week. We'll see when the standings come out. But I think these are both two teams you got to watch. If you're in the lower bracket or the upper bracket, you know, it's a competitive series. And with that being said, everybody, we are going to head on out tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This has been week 3 of the DMV Tour. I was your host, Mike. Join with me was Orbital. You need to be back here next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to check out how this tournament is going to shape up. These matches have been fire all the way through. Don't go anywhere. Be here next week. We'll see you there. Take care, everybody.